Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium in Georgetown, Kentucky on a beautiful Friday night for November 20th. We'll call it beautiful. It's players out there getting their pregame stretch, and some of them shirtless, others in tank top sleeves. It's a beautiful night, what we're saying. We're here for playoff football. We didn't know if that was ever going to happen. Didn't dare to jinx it by saying it was. We've had some starts and stops, couple of false starts, couple of worries that maybe things were going to get shut down, but we are here tonight for Scott County and Grant County. Round one of the district playoffs, the KHSAA playoffs that will culminate at Kroger Field the Saturday or the weekend before Christmas. Long way to go to get there. This is game one of the playoffs, game 7 of the season for SC. They come in undefeated, an undefeated regular season, albeit an abbreviated one at 6-0. These two teams met back on October 9th. Strangely enough, that was the next to last game of those 6 wins. As Scott County won with ease, 62-14. They scored on the second play from scrimmage on offense. Had a couple of turnovers in that first half that they turned into points, and it was an easy night. Sometimes the second time around, a team can throw caution to the wind, nothing to lose, fill in your own cliche here, and Grant County's in that position tonight, so we'll see if they've got anything to throw the Cardinals' way. The Braves come in with a record of 3-4. Their wins in the district over Montgomery County and then outside the district over Owen and Gallatin. They've always been able to pick off some of the smaller opponents up in their part of the state, but district-wise, for the better part of 10 or 15 years, it has been tough sledding. And it got even tougher when Scott County and Frederick Douglass moved into that district. My special guest tonight is Coach Chris Wilhite from the basketball program. We'll talk about that a little later. That's an issue in and of itself, but Chris, strange times indeed, but these kids are just happy to be playing football. I'm sure you know one of them pretty well. What's the thought from the Cardinals going into this one?
Well, like you said, they're very excited to get back on the field. It's been 35 days since the last game.
Crazy.
Which is it's unheard of in high school. College, you have the bowl season, which it's probably not even that long for most bowl
not anymore
games.
Yeah.
They've been out on the practice field for 5 weeks now trying to get ready for this game, so I'm sure they're juiced up and ready to go.
Both of these teams had a 2-week quarantine mixed in there. Cardinals lost 2 games. They were supposed to go to Ballard, and then they were supposed to make up a game that had been canceled previously against Frederick Douglass. So that sets up what's happening tonight. Assuming a win here and assuming that Frederick Douglass holds serve at home against Great Crossing, we will try to get some updates from that game. It is available to you on NFHS Network as well. We're going to have the national anthem here, but those two teams on a collision course to meet next week. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the Star Spangled Banner. Another great job by the band as they have been faithful in providing the atmosphere here in what has been a strange season atmosphere-wise at Birds Nest Stadium. Of course, the crowd is limited to immediate family, 2 per participant is what it's been for most of the year, and still a good turnout here, as we mentioned. Nice weather for the end of November, and conditions that shouldn't slow down what either team likes to do, and that's especially for Scott County, run the ball. And Grant County, you want to talk about run the ball. Logan Sutherland, Chris, you and I were talking off the air about this kid. Let's talk about his stats. In 7 games, people, let's test your math skills. 228 carries, so that's by my calculations about 32 a game for 1,249 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's the leading rusher in the state in terms of yards per game in Class 5A, and they don't care what the score is. They'll give it to him. Another thing that I found interesting about this Grant County team, we've seen it for 2 years now. Every kick is an onside kick, and they don't punt. They don't care where they are on the field. If they're on their own 9-yard line and it's 4th and 21, they do not punt. It's a strange situation, and you got to be on your toes if you're the defense.
You're right. And I'm curious if they do that every game, or they just do that when they play Scott County, Frederick Douglass, and they've got nothing to lose and they're just going for it. It'd be interesting to know that.
They play when they played. I was wondering that myself. When they played Great Crossing, they pretty much did the same thing. They didn't punt. They didn't. Every kick was a squib at the very least. They didn't kick it deep.
I guess if you got the leading rusher in the state, you just take your chances that he may break one on fourth and long.
I guess it keeps it fun for the kids. But yeah, you're right. Playing certain games you go into knowing you got to do something special to even have a chance. So you might as well. I've heard of teams in other parts of the country that have that philosophy. They don't punt, but they also have a pretty powerful offense. And Grant County, not a bad attack. They can throw the ball as well. They dropped a couple of bombs on Scott County last time, and the secondary will have to be looking out for that tonight as well. Connor Knipp is the quarterback for Grant County. He's got some decent targets in Carson Bick, who has caught 17 for 372, so he can get the ball downfield. Nick Dion, 24 catches, leads the team. And Chandler Haney has caught 8, but for 201 yards, so he can pick up a bunch in a hurry as well. That'll test the Scott County secondary, which, of course, is led by Campton Martin with 6 interceptions. Again, that's a rate of 1 per game.
Right.
Leads the state, leads 5A outright, and is a tie for the state lead regardless of class. He's also, if you look at his touchdowns, all-purpose, all totaled, he has 16, 12 of them on the ground. It's an interesting Scott County offense. It seems like they have gained steam as the season's gone on. They've eliminated the penalties a little bit. They've cut down on the turnovers. They put themselves in good down and distance situations, and that's when good things happen for the wing T.
Well, and they got into a pretty good rhythm there as they were able to play, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and then we'll have to see what this layoff does, but it's good for them to be able to get back in action tonight and hopefully can win this game and then kind of be prepared for next week's showdown.
And we mentioned that game has been canceled twice, so we don't have a regular season game to fall back on. If you look at if you compare it or think of it in terms of other sports, it's like a game 7. Each team has won 3 times against the other since the rivalry began in 2017. They've met in the playoffs and in the regular season all 3 previous years. The last 2 went to Frederick Douglass last season, but playoff rematch was a little tougher. So,
yes, we made up a lot of ground in that playoff game from the initial game. I think we got shut out actually in the first game.
First time in about 19 years, I think, that Scott County been shut out.
It was a game into the fourth quarter, so.
It was, and it was self-inflicted a lot in that game. There were still too many turnovers, fumbled snaps, things of that nature. You just can't do that against a team that's that good and hope to win. Of course, Douglass comes in tonight with a record of 4-1 as they are hosting Great Crossing. The Warhawks are at 3-4. That was a rematch of last year's first-round playoff game that went to the Broncos 50-0. So, as I said, we'll be tracking that. Certainly an improved Great Crossing team this year and a Douglass team that has played 1 quarter in 6 weeks. So the layoff may affect them. We'll see how that happens. But as you said, Scott County has got some rust probably to work out, but I'll be interested to see how many carries Montego Jones gets. He missed the 2 games prior to the break with an ankle injury that was suffered at the end of the Ryle game. So a lot of guys have been able to pick up the slack. It was by committee in the win over Grant County and again in the win at Montgomery County. But
and that's one thing that the layoff hasn't been able to do is get some of these guys that have been banged up and had injuries. They've had plenty of time to heal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you got Montego Jones, Jackson Saylor. So 2/3 of their backfield have been out the last couple games they did play. So they should be back and ready to go tonight.
Both got hurt in the second half of that Ryle game. And when you talk about Ryle, you talk about Bryant Station. Those are 2 wins that at the time we didn't know the significance of them. But if you look, those are 2 of the better teams in 6A right now. They are both the top seed in their district tournament in 6A. So Scott County with some quality wins. For as long as Scott County's in the playoffs, they're going to be right here at the nest as their RPI is second in the state, and that will assure them for all intents and purposes, a game for as long as they can stay in it every Friday night right here. So,
and that's the importance of playing those tough out-of-district games.
Exactly right.
And winning them. Obviously.
Keep the winning percentage up. The problem with Douglas is they lost that game to North Hardin. Squib kick as advertised from Grant County, picked up by Jeremy Hamilton. He falls across midfield, drags a couple of would-be tacklers to the Braves 46, and that's where the Cardinals will start out going from right to left on your radio dial, as it were, with Zane Patton, the quarterback, the senior. He's had a nice year, Chris. He had to wait his turn. And, sometimes kids, you never know what you're going to get out of them at this varsity level, but he has stepped up.
He has, and the improvement he's shown from game 1 to game 6. He was a little nervous those first couple games, but as the season went on, his accuracy really improved.
He's thrown some dimes. He's going to throw on first down. Play action deep, just overthrown. That Saylor down the middle?
That was Saylor down the middle, yes.
It was a deep ball that was just off of Saylor's fingertips. The Cardinals wearing the black tops with the red numbers that are almost impossible to see. So we beg your forgiveness ahead of time as we sort some of that out. It'll be 2nd and 10. That's a play that Coach McKee likes to run at certain times. Sometimes when you run it on first down, it limits what you can do from there. And here, as Jones runs it up the middle, he gets stopped for a gain of 1. So now it's 3rd and 9, and you may be in the position of having to throw again. Cardinals right up to the line of scrimmage. They're a run-oriented offense, but they don't waste any time. When things are going well, it's tempo, tempo, tempo. Hamilton on the sweep. He gets to the 40, 35 and a first down and more. They're going to throw a flag there, so some of the end of that may be cut off, but
looks like he should have got the first down there.
Even if they mark it back 10 from the spot, I think he's going to be past the marker. Well, it depends. Now the ref is kicking it. It depends where the flag was intended to be thrown.
Well, he went in our direction, so that's good, but it's still going to be right on the marker, looks like. They mark it back 10.
Jeremy Hamilton had all kinds of room there on the right side going toward the Grant County sideline. They finally caught up with him around the 10-yard line, but now it's being marked back. It will be short of the first down, but it will still be 3rd down. Call it 3rd and 2. So he got to the 28, I guess, is where the spot of the foul was. So essentially a gain of 17 for Jeremy, but they take 10 off of it. First drive of the game, 10:51 remaining first quarter, no score. Patton under center, hands off to Jones, breaks an ankle tackle and gets just shy of the 30. That'll move the chains. Cardinals are the first down at the Braves 31, and looks like so far so good on Tago's health.
Yeah, not a lot of guys are going to take him down with the arm tackle.
No, just kind of grabbing the shoelaces there, and that's not going to topple a guy who's he's 200 pounds if he's an ounce. In motion is Hamilton. Patton will fake again and look to throw. The pocket kind of collapsed on him, and he has to get rid of it. I don't know if he had a receiver over there or not. No flags, so he may have dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, there was one. I guess he's going to be in the vicinity anyway.
I saw a lineman. I didn't know who was closer to the ball than maybe he was, but
I think maybe he got credit for the guy tackling him as he was throwing. Maybe
that might have been it.
Second, the extra yardage.
2nd and 10 is the upshot of that at the 31. So they've thrown on first down twice so far. Interesting. Now they'll run this way with Saylor. He gets to the 25 before he is wrapped up. It's a good gain of 6. It'll be 3rd and 4 for the Cardinals. here on the opening drive of KHSAA 2020 playoffs.
You talk about throwing on first down. Is that something they're showing maybe Douglas for next week? Just to get those guys thinking about that? Or?
Plus, you want to maybe see if get Zane's arm working early.
Right.
They know they're probably going to have to throw in that game at some point. It's not going to be a situation where you like to have 8 or 9 minute drives running the football, but realistically, he'll fake the throw. It's Jones running up the middle. He'll get another first down, dragging white jerseys and gold pants all the way inside the 15. As Grant County, not as you said, one guy is not going to stop him. More than likely, two's not going to stop him.
Yeah, that time a linebacker was grabbing on his legs, and then one of the big down linemen caught up to him from behind. So
handoff again to Jones. He gets ripped down at the 10. There comes in another flag late.
It's an interesting flag coming from the back linesman there.
Flag on the field.
I'm going to try to track the Douglas Gray Crossing game for y'all, but right now their stream on NFHS doesn't have a scoreboard, so that's going to make it tricky. It's going to be a face mask on the Braves, so that'll tack on, make it another first down. It'll be first and goal at the 5, so it came in from a strange place for a face mask penalty, but we will take it. And they will run the counter, and into the end zone for the touchdown is Jeremy Hamilton. He scored 3 times when they met Grant County up in Dry Ridge last month, twice on the ground and once on a pick 6. And he gets on the board here with 9:08 remaining in the first quarter. And we are a Jacob Bange PAT away from 7-0. He's 38 of 39 on the season, so at the risk of jinxing him. Good snap, good hold, good kick.
Good.
And it is a 7-0 lead for the Cardinals as the seizure-inducing lights go off. Haven't used those much this year, and I was kind of grateful for that.
Yes.
So Scott County gets on the board with its opening drive of the night. Kind of a systematic drive. A penalty hurt them, and then a penalty helped them. Threw a couple of first down passes, as we mentioned, that they couldn't quite connect on. But at the end of the day, the end result is the usual. Jeremy Hamilton with the 5-yard run.
Yeah, Jeremy's got a pretty good advantage with his speed on the outside, looks like, for tonight.
He does. He always does. And, of course, an athlete who's getting a lot of looks at the next level. He's already got a Division I offer from Cincinnati. And as you well know, he's a difference maker on the basketball court as well.
Yes. He checks off all the boxes, that's for sure.
He is he gets his money's worth on the basketball court. That's what I love about watching him there. He says, they're going to give me 5 fouls. I'm going to use all of them.
He usually gets his money's worth. Yes, yes. This plays so hard. That's what you got to love about him.
Kickoff from right to left. This will be the only time that the Scott County kickoff team has to work is on their own kickoffs, as Grant County's just going to go short. They catch it at the 12. He is wrapped up at the 20 and thrown down by Tackett, Cade Tackett. One of the leading tacklers on this team gets one with authority there. A solo stop, and Grant County will go to work right at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Kay did a very nice job shedding the blocker, and just the running back or the returner was right there waiting for him. So good job of wrapping up and getting him down quickly.
Grant County, Connor Knipp is the quarterback, number 12. He has quite the crop of receivers that we mentioned, but the big gun is Logan Sutherland in the backfield, number 3. He's a load to bring down, and persistence pays for him. They will feed it to him all night long if they can.
Yeah, they spread it out, but they're obviously a run first team.
And we say that, and they will throw to the left on first down. It's a gain of about 5. He threw to his own sideline. I think it was Dion over there, number 2.
It was, and Hamilton was on the tackle there.
Number 12, Connor Knipp.
Knipp with a gain of 5 on first down, so that gives them 2nd and 5. Here's Sutherland, his first look of the game, and ganged up quickly. Multiple black shirts there. Colvin was involved, and a bunch of others. Tackett.
Guys up front did a very good job of setting the line there. They ran the backfield and held up the offensive lineman, let Colvin fill in and make the tackle.
Sutherland loses at least a yard, maybe a yard and a half, so it'll be 3rd and long.
Which, as we talked about, is 2-down territory all the time, right?
I was going to say, you can count on they're going to go for it on 4th down as well. Knipp will throw. He will complete it to number 8, Carson Bick, who's quickly wrapped up there.
This pass is complete to Carson Bick.
Is that Wilhite on the tackle, Coach?
That was, yes, that was.
Good stop there to make it 4th and 4 from the 26. Looks like Douglas has scored early in the game over in Lexington, so at least 7-0 there. As I said, the scoreboard non-existent at this point, but
Guess they didn't buy the extra piece.
no, I've watched some soccer games, and sometimes you have to I don't know, sometimes I think they forget to hit the toggle switch or something. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it'll be a quick kick by Knipp, which is interesting. I guess they know it doesn't make much sense to give Scott County the ball at the 20, and that's what you work, because you get the poison drill there, as it almost went off of a leg, and A.J. Young finally covered up. I think it did go off of his leg, and he had to cover it.
Yes, luckily he fell right down on it.
So right around midfield, we'll call it the Scott County 49. The Cardinals will have the ball once again with 6:55 remaining in the first quarter. They're up 7-0 and looking for more here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. We'll thank a few of our sponsors while we have the opportunity. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Of course, the Georgetown News Graphic, newsgraphic.com for all the results from this game and the other playoff game tonight, as well as Denise M. Keene, certified public accountant for all your tax and auditing needs. Again, Patton will throw on 1st down. It's complete. It's a little turn and go as Paul Garner, the leading receiver on this Cardinal team, makes his 9th catch of the season. He'll be marked out of bounds at the 22. It's a gain of 29, and the Cardinals are headed into the red zone once again.
That was a good timing pattern there, about a 10-yard curl pattern, and then Paul was able to make the first guy miss and pick up extra yardage.
Nice little spin move by the sophomore, who's going to be a dangerous all-purpose player going forward in his career. There's a handoff on 1st down, a little more traditional look, as Saylor picks up about 3.
So we've seen Scott County throw on all 3 first down plays tonight.
Just like you drew it up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all expected that.
And we've seen Grant County punt. So
that's what happens when you give Coach McKee 5 weeks to think about a game, I guess.
That's right.
You throw something entirely different at you. No gain there for Jones, negligible gain at most. It'll be 3rd and 7. Again, certainly 4-down territory for the Cardinals. You got to think they've got the confidence that they can punch it in here.
Yeah, I was expecting an outside run on this one. You know, Grant County's got a couple interior linemen of pretty good size.
I was going to say, I would think this is the time for Hamilton. Going to run that play that he ran earlier, and he's going to take it to the house. 19-yard touchdown run, similar to the one that the flag was thrown on early in the game, but no flags here and no tacklers here. And with 5:52 remaining in the first quarter, Scott County's up 2 scores.
Those guys did a good job. Paul Garner on the outside, the blocking, and also the tight end on that side did a good job sealing the edge. And Jeremy was, untouched for 19 yards.
His 2nd score of the half. It's his 5th score of the season against Grant County. They've seen enough of Jeremy Hamilton on both sides of the ball. Baines with the kick. It is good. He is 40 for 41 on the season, folks. That's efficient. And as they come back upfield, your Scott County Cardinals are on top by a score of 14-0.
So he's kicked 40 extra points in a 6-game season, basically.
Something like that,
so, I mean, that prorates out to a pretty good season for
crazy.
Yeah.
You got to think. They would have. I'm trying to think what the record is. It's like it's out there. I know it. Back in 2013, I can't remember how many they kicked. It's crazy.
But those guys work on it. You know, I drive by the field a lot of times going to the gym for practice, or they're just out in town and drive by the field. And the kickers are out there a lot working. So they definitely put the time into it.
Coach Ward has, it seems like he digs out a good one. Whenever they graduate one, there's someone to come in and fill the void.
Yes.
Taking off for Scott County is number 99.
He definitely goes and finds them.
Yeah. They usually find one. In this case, they found it on the soccer team. It's a multi-sport
Right.
contributor.
Pretty common in high school.
Yes, it is. Even at the larger schools,
Yes.
such as Scott County. Kicking off once again. It'll go deep once again to the 10-yard line, just outside the 10. It is Bick. He runs into his own man. That kind of helped him a little bit. He threw it forward. I don't know. That didn't look like a fumble. That looked kind of intentional. They covered it. A lineman fell on it. Nick Hill. At least he's wearing a lineman's number.
That might have been intentional, but I'm not sure he's trying to throw it to 63.
I don't think he's an intended receiver at any point in time.
Yeah.
Not on that play or any other.
Looks like he's lining up at
Grant County on their own 34.
right guard or tackle.
Yeah, I was going to say, this team, one thing you'll notice about Grant County, they don't have a lot of jerseys standing on the sidelines. They have about 22, 23 kids in uniform. Straight handoff to Sutherland, and nothing there. As Scott County doing a much better job, at least early on, of containing the Grant County running back. Tackle made there by Spencer Wood, among others. Ball's at the 39, or at the 34. No gain, 2nd and 10. Grant County not in any rush to run a play here as they look to the sideline and wait for the signal.
You know, you talk about Grant County, you see about 3 coaches over there too. So
yeah, they're not.
Limited, so they may still have some COVID issues possibly with their
and
quarantine.
You know, you also you got to love the fact that they do things to keep it exciting. I mean, that's probably some of that is designed to maybe drum up some interest in a program that has struggled for a long time.
Right.
Get some more kids out. As Knipp keeps the ball, gets up to the 37. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Like a little miscommunication on that when he held the ball out. There wasn't a running back on that side, so he just kind of tucked it up and ran.
He just had to cut his losses and take what he could get. He can run. He's got 5 touchdowns on the season. He just drew Scott County off sides with the hard count. That's going to make it an easier situation. It'll be 3rd and 2. They'll move it up to the 42-yard line. Talking about Knipp's stats.
He's thrown for 1,000 yards.
He has. He's got 5 touchdowns running. A lot of those are quarterback sneaks. Exactly 1,000 yards coming into tonight. 8 touchdowns compared to 7 interceptions.
He's pretty good size. I mean, he's much bigger than the running back Sutherland.
Yeah. Sutherland kind of hides behind him. I think that's part of the advantage they have there.
That's right.
Although they run the spread formation, so right now he is kind of standing toe-to-toe. Now we've got another whistle and a flag, and they might lose the 5 yards they picked up there. Indeed. It will be delay game, so set it back to 3rd and 7. It all comes out in the wash, 5 yards one way and 5 yards the other. And that's, if you're the team that's already the underdog coming in, you can't give away even little stuff that's handed to you like that. Third down and 7. They're still taking their sweet time getting the play called out here.
Definitely spread out this time. It's
an empty set. Yeah. Knipp is standing by himself. 2 seconds on the clock. Now the snap. He's got plenty of time to throw it. He finds his man off on the right side. It's Bick again. He gets thrown out of bounds by Colvin and Young. John Thompson as well. It'll be 4th down. They got back across the 40, so call it 4th and 3. Got most of that 5 yards back, but do or die situation here from their own 41. They're already down 14-0 are the Grant County Braves.
Yeah, they punted once. That's probably their quota for the night. So pretty sure they're going for it this time.
Yeah, I was going to say that quick kick. I don't. The KHSAA site doesn't have punting stats, but I know they haven't punted too many times. At least
Sutherland.
not conventionally. Sutherland just trying to push the stack up the middle. He's met by Wood
Well short of the first down.
and Young and others, and he did not make it. He got to the 42, and that's where Scott County will take over. Clock running, even though it's not a running clock situation. They haven't stopped it yet. Okay, now they stop it with 3:59.
Those guys have been off 35 days too, I guess.
It's true, and there may be just anticipating the inevitable here as Scott County got it to running time pretty early, right before the half, the first time they played Grant County. Grant County was a little more prolific on offense that night, at least more so than they've been so far this evening.
Yes.
As they've come up empty twice.
Did several nice runs last time.
Threw
and a couple
deep.
nice passes.
Speaking of throwing deep, here's Patton again throwing on first down, but it did not look like his receiver didn't go where he was anticipating him to go. Maybe a little miscommunication there. But interesting, 4 times now on first down, Scott County has thrown the football. And I guess they feel like maybe against Grant County or a team of that at that level, they have the freedom to do that because it's not as tough being in a 2nd and 10 as it would be against a Douglas. Patton under center, hands off to Jones, who only gets to the 40. Jones hasn't been able to get much of a head of steam going yet. In fact, they're going to mark him at the 41, so call it a gain of a yard. 3rd and 9 for the Cardinals.
That's a tough set that Grant County has 10 guys stacked right over top of the ball. They've got one guy guarding Garner on the outside, and the other 10 are within 5 yards of the ball, looks like.
They kind of know they're stacking the box. They know what they're going to get. Maybe that's part of it. It's part of the motivation to throw early and throw often. This qualifies as often for Scott County, I would say.
Which opens it up for Hamilton around the outside, which we're going to see.
Which is what you're going to see again. He's going to break the first tackle. He's going to duck inside the second one, get to the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, and he has the natural hat trick in the first quarter with 3:05 remaining. Once, twice, 3 times to the end zone for number 25.
Just no guys out there. And Saylor that time had a good pancake block on the only guy that would have had the potential chance of slowing him down. So good execution once again.
Jeremy Hamilton having himself a night, as he did 6 weeks ago when they met Grant County. It's just weird talking about this season. And thank goodness Coach McKee had he kind of anticipated that. He wanted to get those games played early at all costs.
Right.
The kick is good. It's 21-0. I think back to week 3 when there was a chance of having no game and George Rogers Clark stepped in. And there were a couple of times even after the week after Montgomery County, he was hopeful of having a game then. It just didn't come to fruition.
Right. Some schools have tougher times scheduling games than others.
Exactly.
For different reasons.
And you've seen, you've seen Douglas kind of publicly complain about it. And,
Right.
it's when you're a powerhouse program, no matter what reasons you're a powerhouse, people are not going to want to come play you at the drop of a hat, especially. It's hard enough to play Scott County or Frederick Douglass with a week or 5 weeks to prepare, never mind 24 hours.
Go and give Clark County credit. They came over
both
twice.
times. Yeah, they did what everybody said. Anything we can do to play football this year, let's play football. And they put their money where their mouth was for sure. So
definitely a challenge each week by week, and it's going to be one going forward. You
it's
got to
going to
hope
be
that your team can, do what they're supposed to do and be able to play each week.
It's going to be a challenge for all sports this year. I think we're in spring again as well.
Yes.
Once again, fielded at the 10-yard line, running up this near sideline, coughs it up out of bounds, though. It was Sutherland. Good coverage there, just shy of the 30, and he was stretching for more yardage. And
they did a good job of keeping him outside the numbers, so they kind of pinned him in on that sideline and were able to close in pretty quickly.
So the third possession of the night for the Braves. First one ended in a quick kick. Not really a quick kick because it was 4th down, but as we said, we don't expect them to punt very much. And then the second drive, they were stopped shy on a run on 4th and short. So
still, you have to get a first down, right?
Yeah, they have yet to get one. And they have yet to
Oh,
get
got
one there. Oh,
interception.
no, they did
That was-
catch it on the tip. A little tip drill there. It was off the fingertips and caught by number 17, Trevain Taylor. Elijah Adams was there and thought he was going to have the big guy interception, but it went through his fingers. It is shy of the marker, 2nd and 1.
I think Elijah, he saw the end zone. There was not much between him and the end zone on that one. He just went right through his arms. Had it covered well.
Knipp with lots of time, but now Herbert
Herbert.
closing in and is going to get the sack. Kevin Herbert just feel like a prophet putting the picture on the front page of the section this morning with him stalking the quarterback the last time they played Grant County, and he gets the sack here. Makes it 3rd and 5. Not a huge loss, but certainly a different situation. They were in 2nd and short. You'd think, I don't know if Sutherland is maybe banged up a little bit, or you think, you'd have every excuse to be banged up as much as he's
Right.
carried it this year, but they haven't gone to him much.
And he's run inside every time so far, so I don't know. I think a guy of his stature would be, more of an outside type runner.
You would think, but he kind of just grinds it out. He's more of a
Yeah.
fullback type. Another throw over the top, complete. It'll be a 1st down. Nice tackle by Young to keep it to a dull roar, but number 8, Carson Bick, makes the catch. We mentioned he's the leading receiver in terms of catches on the team. I believe that's his 26th of the year. 1st down at the 40, so first fresh set of downs for the Braves with 1:28 to go in the first quarter. They trail 21-0. Snap to Knipp. He's got all kinds of time. He throws over the middle. That's a dangerous pass, but it is complete as Scott County gambled on the interception. And he zipped it in there. Good throw and a good catch and run to the 35 by number 3, Logan Sutherland, the running back being used as the primary receiver in that case on the slant and into Scott County territory at the 35. So make it the 34. And this is what Grant County did the first time. They were able to pick up yards against the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was a tight window, and he put a little extra on that and got it
Some
in there.
mustard. He had about 3
yeah.
black shirts there. He's got a live arm, does number 12. We have a timeout, and we'll break in the action as I think Coach Monty wants to talk about it, or did the Braves call it there?
Looked like Scott County called timeout.
Yeah, they did. That makes sense because Monty McIntyre wasn't happy with what he was seeing there. A couple of big plays in the passing game here have moved the chains and given Grant County a little bit of life. Scott County certainly not in any grave danger. They are up 21-zip. Late in the first quarter.
All these coaches are doing different things, just trying to keep their seasons going. Like, Scott County's got a lot fewer players dressed out tonight than they normally would, just try to keep the numbers down.
I think that's been the recommendation anyway, and it's noticeable tonight.
Right.
There's not a –
Yeah, I think the start of the season was 60, and I think we're down below 40 tonight. So.
Yeah, that's the sensible thing.
Right.
1st and 10. The Braves on the Cardinals.
1st and 10 for the Braves at the Cardinals 34. Knipp will throw again to Sutherland. He's got all kinds of room on the left side. That was another strange play where Scott County just didn't pick him up coming out of the backfield. He only gained 5. They converged rather nicely after that, but not before he got to the 28.
Yeah, Campton did a good job closing in, but you're right. The one receiver ran both of our defenders deep, and the other guy came underneath, and wasn't anybody left to take him.
That's definitely a record for this season. We got to the last minute of the first quarter before we even mentioned Campton Martin's name.
Right.
That's kind of strange.
2nd down and 4.
I'm sure it won't be the last time tonight. 2nd and 4 at the 28. Martin was named All-State by KSR, their first ever All-State team this week, and I'm sure there will be others forthcoming. Nip avoids the rush, throws it deep. He's got a man down there, and it's also
Caught.
yeah, it's going to be pass interference, and as long as that's on the Cardinals, it'll be a touchdown for Grant County. Bick caught it in the end zone. He had man coverage down there. Looked like the Cardinal defender was just kind of trying to screen him out and hope for the best. I didn't see if there was contact or not because it was in that far corner opposite of us. The officials are talking about it, backing the Scott County players away.
Yeah. At this point, it doesn't matter. He caught it, so whatever they're deciding.
Unless it's offensive pass interference, but it's not going to be. They're going to mark it. It's a touchdown, and it will be a PAT attempt here with 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. 28-yard connection from Connor Knipp to Carson Bick. And Grant County is on the board. True to form, they will not kick. They will go for 2. They've got trips left. Sutherland in the backfield. They will get sacked, and it will be no good. That Young came in there.
2-point conversion, not good. Brought down by Scott County's Cody.
Nope, it's Cody King. Cody King on the sack to stop the PAT. Looks like Great Crossing's got something going in the Douglas game. They are down on the 1-yard line. We'll try to keep updated on that. I've seen Douglas score twice to this point, I believe. I wish there was a score I could report, but it is 21-6 here with 10 seconds remaining in the opening quarter as Grant County finally gets on the board. Didn't have a first down up until that drive, but they were very efficient throwing the ball there. And Carson,
that looked like several of the drives the earlier time we played them.
Yeah,
They were moving the ball up and down the field. They just couldn't, finish off their drives.
Carson Bick, several nice catches and caps it with a 28-yarder for the touchdown.
King for the Braves will be number 4, Caleb Bolton.
Squib kick, onside kick, doesn't even go. I think that's going to be minus yardage. Yep. How often do you see that? It'll fall shy of the 40 before it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, that -2 on that kick.
Not something you see every day.
First and 10 for Scott County on the Brave 38-yard.
It will be marked at the 38, so Scott County with another short field to work with. They will run to the left. It is Hamilton again, knocked off his feet down at the 35. They have changed ends at Douglas. So they're at the end of the first quarter as Great Crossing tries to punch it in there. The first quarter has ended here with a score of Scott County 21 and Grant County 6. Cardinals will have it 2nd and 7 at the 35. When we come back, we will thank our Bird's Nest Broadcast Network sponsors, including Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. TMMK, Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Clark's Pump and Shop with 3 and soon to be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their #1 priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars, think Greens.
Over the last 20 years, Dan continually reinforces the importance of providing the best level of care.
Another presentation to trainer Dan Volpe down there, celebrating his 20 years of service to Scott County schools, Scott County High School athletics.
It's unbelievable the amount of time and hours that Dan puts in with all the sports. You know,
Yeah,
he's a one-man show most nights
he is.
for a lot of athletes.
He's keeps these guys and gals on the field, and it's a lot of work.
Yes.
So if you're playing varsity sports, any varsity sport in the state of Kentucky, it's a physical toll that it's going to take on you. First half stats is Steve delivers them to us, Mr. Steve McLean. Offensive yards, 147 to 85. Not a tremendous disparity there, but Scott County is on top. It's a run for a first down and more as Montego Jones will take it to the house. And we wanted to see him crank it up. And he finally did. Looked like Patton kind of was running behind him as if he wanted to sell the fake and make people think he was running with it. But Montego was he was kind of just escorting Montego down the field.
Yeah, he bounced that one outside a lot quicker than normal. So I don't know if that was a called run that way or what, but he got out to the edge quickly.
He usually grinds it up the middle, but when you see Montego hit the corner like that, he's got deceptive speed, and he showed it off there. 27-6 pending the PAT, only 9 seconds into the second quarter. As somebody other than Jeremy Hamilton finally gets on the board for the Cardinals tonight. Snap, hold, kick, all good, and your score is 28-6. If the camera at Douglas would pan a little bit more to the right, we could see the scoreboard, the stadium clock, and tell you what's going on. But
seems like these cameras are motion centered, so if we can get somebody in the end zone to maybe do a little dance,
I don't know.
It'll slide over a little bit farther.
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if you've watched. The only thing that bothers me with basketball is sometimes a kid will be at the free throw line and they'll be showing somebody standing in the backcourt with his hands on his hips at a pivotal point in the game. But we are appreciative of the opportunities that NFHS has provided for us to bring these games to you this year, certainly as with attendance limited and will continue to be limited. We will be here for you. Newsgraphic.com and NFHS Network will have, I can't tell you how many games, but a ton of basketball games this winter involving both schools, both boys and girls. The original schedule is going to have to be chopped up and started over as Coach, you know very well.
Yes.
You're on the same, you're doing the same thing right now. Scott County kicks it away. We're going to have basketball January 4th is what we're hoping right now, as the return out to the past the 25 and finally down at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, January 4th is the
date. We're all hopeful right now. Of course, practice has been put on hold for 3 weeks now, along with just about everything else in the state of Kentucky.
Right.
First 10 and 10 for the Braves.
Braves with the ball. They scored on their last drive. They're down 28-6. It's funny how much you can pick up from the sidelines when the crowd is a lot smaller. Sutherland on the run, doesn't get much, spins for a couple. Or he's brought down by Wood and others. He's made several stops, number 61 tonight.
Gain of 2 on the play, second down and 8.
They will try to throw and get sacked again. That's the second sack of recent vintage of Knipp. Wood was there with Herbert again.
Isaac Krebs.
Krebs is there as well. He's the leading. He leads the team in tackles for loss, so it only appropriate that he's in on another one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the whole defensive line got that sack.
I think you can credit a bunch.
They were all on top of it that time.
Great Crossing scored a kick. I don't know if it was a field goal or a PAT. It was a chippy in any sense, but they were right down on the goal line. So they've put something on the board against Douglas as Grant County throws again. Bick coming toward the near side. He is taken down there. Good pursuit by Campton Martin. And he will stop it shy of the first down at the 32. In fact, it's well shy. It's 4th and 6. Interesting to see what Grant County does here. Do they try that little pooch punt again? I think when you're down 28-6, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, and they're farther out from their end zone than they usually are when they don't punt. So
I mentioned the first quarter stats. Jeremy Hamilton ended up with 85 yards among his 3 touchdowns. Grant County only had 4 yards rushing on 6 attempts, rather. So they were 7 for 7 through the air. That was where they made it work, and that's something that Scott County will have to tighten up next week. There's no question. No matter which of those 2 teams they play.
that's right. Both teams will definitely be on a different level.
Great Crossing defeated Grant County easily, hung 50 points on them this year. I believe the Frederick Douglass game was 64-0 over Grant County, so it'll be a step up.
But those kids at Grant County, that obviously they wanted to play tonight too. They've been out, and in the back of their mind, they knew probably what the outcome of this game is going to be. But it's a chance for them to get out on the field one more time this year.
Exactly, and a call goes out to them because, as we were talking in the pregame, at least 20 teams begged off tonight. Now, a lot of them had legitimate COVID-related reasons, either on their team or in their community. But teams that are downtrodden had every right and every chance to say, "Hey, look, we're not gonna bother with a trip to Team A or Team B. We know the writing's on the wall there, and credit to Grant County for strapping up and playing another game."
That's right.
As we said, 3-4 on the season. They picked up their first district win in a long, long time, dating back to when Mike Davis was the coach.
Wow.
2008 was the last time they had won a district game or a game against a 5A opponent. So it's been a long time coming.
Blitz
and
again.
Another sack. Nope. He escapes, and now they're going to throw a flag. It may have been at least an incidental face mask there. Hopefully not a 15-yarder, because that would probably move the chains. We'll see what they say. Yep. Looked like he didn't give the personal foul indication, though.
He did not. So they're going to be a yard short if it's just a 5-yarder.
I think they'll get to replay the 4th down, though. Nope, they're marching off 15.
Yep.
Okay, then. Well, they let them off the hook there. And now he confirms that it was a personal foul. So 1st and 10 for Grant County at the 40. Tough break for Scott County there as they had the sack made and just got the hand on the face mask.
That's odd. That was a 6-yard penalty. So it was automatic first down, or
it shouldn't have been. Again, as you said, some of these guys have had a long break. Sutherland stacked up almost immediately. Colvin, Herbert. Interesting. 2nd and 9.
Coach Glenn's listening to the game.
I just got his text.
So, yeah.
Good for Coach Glenn. I had heard that he might make a cameo appearance tonight, but I knew one or both of you was going to be here. Nip again under pressure, throws it away. He had Bick over there, but he also had about 4 Cardinals that were just as close. It fell in front of A.J. Young. Incomplete, 3rd and 9. It's 9:08 to play in the 2nd quarter.
I would say with the restaurants closing down, I'd say Coach Glenn probably made one last run to his favorite restaurant tonight.
Which one would that be?
There's plenty on the list.
Oh, what do we got here? Campton Martin comes across the line and kind of gives the player a little slap on the helmet as if to say, yep, you got me.
You don't see the guys on the outside offsides like that much.
No, he was I'm not sure what Campton was doing there. He will come off and think it over. Certainly, if you had a team MVP, he'd probably have to be the leading candidate this year with his 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, multiple block kicks, you name it. Has done it all.
He's made plays on both sides of the ball.
Sutherland runs near the first down marker. I think he'll be about a quarter of a yard short where they're marking it. After the All-State team was announced, the KSR team, I got a text from Campton's dad the other day. He was reliving the fact that in Scott County youth football, Campton and Caleb Perry, who was also on that first team, were teammates way back in the day when they were little kids. And I was like, can you imagine the strength of that team?
I can, because I was on the other side. Yes, Cal, I can. Yes.
They start them young here in Scott County, and sometimes you can tell early on which ones are going to be the studs.
Very tough to beat that Cowboys team back in the day. And we had several guys that are playing out here tonight, so it's it's good to see that, watch those kids as they're growing up and being able to follow them, with me having one the same age. So it's good to be able to know the kids and follow them through.
This is year 5 for me, so this is the first complete new group of kids at the varsity level that I've seen come through. 5-yard penalty marched off. It seems like every time Grant County draws Scott County offside, they either commit a delay of game or they jump and give it right back. It's 1st and 15.
So they've got a timeout.
Yep, now all kinds of confusion on the Grant County side of the ball in this series, but they've made it to midfield with 8:16, or just shy of there now with the penalty.
Outstanding middle school seasons by the Royal Spring.
Looks like Douglas on the move again, and they will score to, I think, make it 21-7, but don't quote me on that. So it's certainly looking like it will be Douglas and Scott County next week. If this were an election, we'd call it, right? Okay, we don't want to open any wounds there. So
looks like,
move right on to,
of course, you said they just scored, right?
Yeah.
So the last update was 19-7 with 10:56
so
left
that would
in the first.
so that would make it 25-7.
25-7.
Get in there and get you a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a burger.
You're speaking about Coach Martin at the Royal Spring. He does a great job with those guys at the middle school level, getting them ready for the high school, and had 2 good teams again this year, especially the 7th grade. They won the conference championship and made it to the, I believe, the Elite 8 of the state. So had a nice run.
Yeah, at every level here, they've had some tremendous success. Both the middle school teams. You had one from Royal Spring, one from Scott County Middle, making it to the region finals of the region. Nip will be under pressure. He will scramble toward his own sideline and get rid of it. Again, barely a receiver in the area. He's walking, the receiver's walking back upfield as if to say, I was open long before that, but I don't know how open he was.
Yeah, there was pressure quick on him that time. It looked like, is that Barry that got in there pretty quickly?
Yeah, I think so. I've been seeing him a little more seeing him a lot more on the defensive side of the ball tonight. It's reminiscent of like in the past with Brian Hudson, when you finally get to that crunch time of the year where you had to have him out there on every play. I've seen Barry in on a few tackles this evening. And he's made his presence felt even when he didn't get the stop, as he did there. 3rd and 15.
Yeah, he just flushed the quarterback out of the pocket, and then, he's the couple times he had to throw on the run, it hadn't been as accurate. Looks like another delay game.
Going to march off another 5 yards against the Braves. So Grant County moving in the wrong direction if you're following the Braves tonight here on NFHS and newsgraphic.com. It is 3rd and 20, and Sutherland is going to lose more as he is ganged up there by Wood and Barry and 61, 64. And Colvin probably was in there at some point. Actually, Elijah Adams. Anytime Scott County makes a tackle, you can just start calling out names and you're about to hit one. There are always 3 or 4 hats on the ball.
Yeah, they're definitely trained to run to the ball.
3rd and forever. I had thought it was 3rd down before. Now
again.
Another one. Jailbreak. Nipple, get rid of it deep. Bick is down there. He was covered well, though, and it falls incomplete. Was it Hamilton down there?
Looks like Young on the coverage.
Young covered him. It was a well-thrown ball, a little too well, as he overthrew both Young and Bick. So it'll be 4th and 23, and now what do you do if you're Grant County? Might as well go
probably
for
the same play we just saw.
Might as well.
Hope for a pass interference or a. Scott County must think they're going to punt. They've got one back and.
You never. Yep, they are going to pooch it, and it's going to go barely 10, 15 yards straight up in the air. There is a flag. It'll be downed at the Scott County 45. Let's see what the flag's all about. Could be an illegal formation or, kind of a illegal shift. It's going to be declined at any rate.
It's a formation they're not used to running very much, so I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the second time tonight.
Yep.
We have the list of officials, so we might as well give you their names. Referee is Carl McGlone. The umpire is Johnny Marshall. Linesman Anthony Howard. Line judge Matt Chapman. Back judge Brett Ritchie. Side judge Larry Ritchie. And the field judge tonight is Dave Clark. That's your crew of 7. They were talking in the meeting the other day with basketball. The thing that struck me was the discussion about officials. They are down 350 basketball officials in the state this year. And they said of the ones they do have, 20 to 25% are 60 years or older. There's a complete pass from Patton to Cam Lay, who avoids one tackle but steps out of bounds. He's mad at himself. They will mark him out at the 27, but another first down throw from Patton is complete. And Scott County making its presence felt through the air. Cam Lay with a gain of 27.
Zane had a nice touch on that pass, kind of led him right towards the sideline, and Cam ran right under it and was one step from maybe going to the end zone.
He's thrown a nice ball here these past few games. He'll throw it again, left side this time, over the top, complete. Nice. Oh, nope. I thought he had it too. Nice over-the-shoulder attempt. But it will fall incomplete. It was Garner. He kind of had to worry about his feet and whether he was going to be able to drag one in bounds. And between that and a little bit of a high throw, he did not make the catch. So 2nd and 10 at the 28.
And pretty good coverage on that play.
Can't complain about that if you're Grant County. They were onto it. They will run it up the middle with Jones. Patton fake the other way, and see, you've got to bite on everything because Hamilton comes this way, Patton's going that way, and Jones drags the pile for a gain of 3. 3rd and 7, dwindling down to near the halfway point of the second quarter. 6:39 and rolling. Cardinals lead it 28-6. Hand off to Hamilton. He's got all kinds of room. Will he score for the 4th time? Yes, he will. He gets pushed into the end zone by the Grant County. I can't tackle you. I might as well just
try to push you down.
Send you to the house. 25-yard touchdown run, number 4 of the night for Jeremy Hamilton. And Scott County will pad the lead to, looks like it'll be 35-6.
Looks like Grant County's just, they're stacking the box in the middle, trying to take that away. And, they obviously can't cover both of them. So I guess they've decided to take out the middle run. And
you can't stop it all. Yeah. Every time Hamilton gets the ball out here, he is in the clear. Kick is good. It is 35-6 Scott County with 6:23 remaining here in the first half. 4 of those 5 touchdowns have come from Mr. Jeremy Hamilton. He's probably going to have his hands on this Burger King Offensive Player of the Game award plaque that I'm holding. The Defensive Player of the Game will be Bluegrass Orthopedics. We got some candidates right now, everybody from Jonathan Berry to Spencer Wood to Kevin Herbert. That could be a by committee. I'm going to have to chop that one up.
Right. Yeah, the offensive one's
It's a
not going to be tough.
Going to be a
decision tonight.
Done deal at this point. That makes 7 touchdowns for Hamilton against Grant. He loves to face Grant County, apparently. He only had, rushing touchdowns. He had 2 all season. In fact, those 2 at Grant County were his only 2 coming in tonight.
Wow, that's interesting.
And he has made it to 6. So he is, Jones has 7, Martin has 11, Hayden Jones has 4. So we said it had been a by committee for a few weeks here.
Pretty obvious that Jeremy's speed is definitely something Grant County cannot handle.
No. Offense or defense. Tonight it's been all offense. They smother the kick return at the 20 again.
Like Kate Tackett again.
Cade Tackett has made his presence felt on special teams.
Early in the second quarter, Frederick Douglass 26, straight crossings 7.
It is 26-7 in the other game. He may have been reading my tweet, so I hope that's correct. They will start at the 20-yard line. Sutherland has just not been able to get going. We mentioned he's the leading rusher in 5A in terms of both yardage and average per game, but he did not have many in the first quarter. In fact, he had -1. He got a little bit there. Call it 4. You call the great crossing. They're moving the football against Douglas. They are at the Broncos 23 right now. Another short run that is stopped for not even a half-yard gain.
Yeah, that was Adams and looks like Jonathan Thompson.
Those guys have been in on multiple stops. It's all been at the point of attack. You haven't seen. We saw Campton make 1 tackle. You haven't seen a bunch being made at the second level.
Which shows the dominance up front of our guys.
For sure. Hand off again to Sutherland. He's going to sneak away. It would have been a loss. Now literally the entire rugby scrum, 9 different Cardinals out of the 11 will make the stop. It will be 4th and 3. And we would expect Grant County to go for it. If they don't make it, you would expect this to be going to running time very soon.
Yes.
I don't think that will break any hearts on the Scott County sideline. Although, as you said, it's nice to get a game under your belt no matter what. Great Crossing scores on a touchdown pass. So they have put 2 on the board against Douglas. And that was, I don't know what that call was on 4th and 3, just another straight handoff to Sutherland. He's going to lose a pair.
Yeah,
Thompson made in on the stop. Several others. And as we said, Scott County touchdown and, well, they don't even need a 2-point. They just need a touchdown and an extra point to send this to running time. They will go with Saylor on the left side. He gets to the corner, and he will be knocked out at the 2. I thought he scored.
Looked like he did. Looked like he knocked the pylon down.
That official was a lot closer than I am, says he stepped out at the 2-yard line. So
that doesn't mean he can see any better than you, though, Cal, from up here.
I can't argue with that. You never know. We were talking about the officials and they're going to mark it at the 1 now.
It was good to see Jackson Saylor get a nice run there, though. It's maybe his first carry of the night, second carry.
Yeah, it's not more than his second. He had
third
2
carry.
in the first quarter. Yeah. False start's going to back the Cardinals up 5, so it'll be first and goal from the 6 instead.
That's good to see Jackson get the carry.
Saylor with the touchdown as Hamilton has 4, Jones with another, and now Jackson Saylor comes back from the injury suffered, about 7 weeks ago now, and he gets in the end zone on a 6-yard run, and the extra point will send us to running time with 4:04 remaining in the first half. Ranger's kick makes it 42-6, and this game will be a short subject from here on out.
Cal, talking about youth football, that when those guys are coming through, Jackson Saylor and Jeremy Hamilton were on the same team. Best I can remember, so that's a pretty good backfield with those guys. Each team had a lot of good players that are playing out here now. Andrew and Montego are on the same team. Lance Bruin.
So much talent from a very young age, and it's scattered across all sports. That's the great thing. Scott County has put this one away. They will be home Thanksgiving weekend next Friday night, as it's all academic at this point except for the final score. They lead 42-6 with 4:04 remaining in the second quarter. Kick deep. Every kick has landed at the 10 and only been returned to the 20 tonight. Bick will get a little more this time, out to the 22. But good coverage tonight all the way around by the Cardinals, and that's important going forward in the playoffs.
So that was Thomas Fikert and Campton Martin in on that play as well.
First and 10 for Grant County on their own 23.
Grant County at the 23. Clock running, and they're not in any hurry to run a play. Play clock is down to 6-5. At least it's not a cold night. And they're going to get flagged. I mean, how many delay game penalties are they going to take?
It's like they're trying to signal the plays in from the sideline. They're just having a tough time maybe deciding what to run, or I don't know.
I mean, yeah. They've had some success throwing the ball tonight. They've had much less success running it. The pocket has just collapsed so quickly on Nip.
Yeah, the last two possessions, Scott County's got a lot more pressure on
coming up the middle
backfield
for the most part.
Yes.
As it's some big boys up front. That seems to be the difference this year to me. I felt like last year against Douglas, we were just so badly outsized up front. And I don't have that feeling this year. Some of that is because one of their two blue chippers has moved on to the college level, but we've beefed up in that regard too. So it'll be a challenge for sure, but I think it's a little different ball game this year, and especially being here.
Definitely.
It's been tough to go to Lexington 4 times in a row in that series. Is what it's amounted to. Another short run for Sutherland.
Cam Keller in on that play. Did a good job of.
He's a sophomore. It just keeps coming. The talent. He had a big game up to Grant County the first time. A bunch of young guys did. Paul Garner had a big night there. Fikert got a lot of time because of the injuries. That is nothing doing there. Another run by Sutherland that just gets, and he is slow getting up. He's outweighed by about 100 pounds by the two guys who just hit him. I mean, you got to think. It's a little bit of a mismatch there as Keller was in on it again. He just doesn't have a lot of time to pick up that head of steam.
Yeah, he's probably more of a shifty runner looking for, quick cutbacks.
I mean, he keeps a low center of gravity, but he's just not able to do that. You got to have that momentum, and he's just not able to get any momentum going tonight. Nip will try to throw. He uncorks a long bomb. He's got a live arm, but he just overthrows everything. Bick was down there. He was well covered again.
Pretty impressive throw. This 50 yards.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he just, a yard too much.
Just need to put a little bit of air under it. And he didn't. Fourth down and long from the 22. Another pooch punt, perhaps. Only 1:07 to go here in the half. Yeah, they will try it. Angle it toward the sideline. It is muffed and recovered by Grant County. Sutherland will pick it up just on the other side of midfield. It's a tough play there. I guess you're not expecting to have to field too many punts tonight, so put it on the ground, and Grant County will have a chance with 37 seconds. Of course, the clock hasn't stopped, so a couple more Hail Marys.
Yep.
May end up being a no harm, no foul situation. Under pressure, Nip gets rid of it. He gets knocked to the ground. Spencer Wood was all over him. In the backfield. He is going to feel it tomorrow morning. Well, Mr. Nip. He's not going to throw for anything. He's not going to pad that 1,000 yards by a whole lot tonight. They have run out of time in the first half. It was almost all Scott County in that first half, as the Cardinals will take a 42-6 lead into their huddle. We will switch gears here after we get the stats, give you those, and then maybe talk a little high school basketball, as premature as it may feel right now. Who were you following for that Great Crossing?
That was Brian Milam.
Okay. I should have known. Let's see. Yeah, he had the 19-7 with 10:56 left in the first half, and both teams have scored since then. So I think 26-14 is probably the last score we had.
He must have moved on to the next game.
Yeah, I think so. That's the thing in the TV business. You make a quick stop and see what you need, and then
you would think somebody in Lexington would be covering a game. There's only two, right?
One
maybe
would think.
three.
I was trying to think of their guys and where I kind of looked to see if they were at that game, and they weren't. But certainly, I think a lot of people statewide probably perceive that as more of a mismatch than I do. I mean, I no question Douglas is favored in that game, but I didn't think Great Crossing was going to go over there and get beat 50-0 again, and they're proving me right. So happy for them. Jeremy Hamilton touched the ball 6 times. He scored on 4 of them for 110 yards. The long was 41. He also scored from 25, 19, and 5. Montego Jones, they're keeping his workload fairly light, which is a good idea, but getting him back into the flow. 8 for 62. 35 of that came on a touchdown run. Jackson Saylor, 4 for 40. 25 of that came on a run that set up his 6-yard touchdown run. The only score for Grant County was a 28-yard pass from Connor Nip to Carson Bick. The PAT failed. The sack by Cody King on that play. They have put pressure on Mr. Nip all night. His rushing yards is a net -8. He's 8 for 13 through the air, but 1 for 6 in the second quarter. So a lot different. He was sacked twice officially. Bick, 5 receptions for 49. Sutherland, 2 catches for 32. Sutherland came in with 1,200 plus yards, 13 carries, 8 net yards. That's the stat of the game if you're Scott County. Cade Tackett, 7 total tackles, 4 unassisted, 3 assists. A.J. Young, 2 of each. Spencer Wood, Kevin Herbert, we mentioned their names a lot. They are in there as well. 3 punts from Grant County. Didn't expect to see that tonight, but I think even they knew that had to do a few different things to keep this one even respectable. And they've done that. They put one on the board. Zane Patton, it feels like he's had a better night than 2 for 6 for 56. He's thrown some nice balls. Just a couple of them been overthrown there. And I think he threw all 6 of those on first down, which we are not accustomed to seeing. Sutherland, the leading tackler, along with Nip as well for Grant County. So they got a lot of guys going both ways over there. That's certainly a difference. Scott County with its roster doesn't have to do that a whole lot. That about covers the first half stats. It is 42-6. First downs 10-5. Total rushing yardage 212-6. Total yardage 268-96. That's about it. Not much you can say there.
Yeah, those stats kind of jump out at you.
They speak
Total yardage.
Speak for themselves for sure. Well, with a little time to kill here before we maybe move on to talking about football next week, let's talk a little basketball. For those of you who are watching and wonder what's going on, if you try not to watch the news or haven't been paying attention this week, KHSAA, kind of a joint decision, I guess, although there was some confusion between the KHSAA meeting on Wednesday and then the new announcement of restrictions from the governor's office. The long and short of it is basketball is on hold until Monday, December 14th. And that's practice. Games won't be played until Monday, January 4th at the earliest. And Coach, you were saying you all had a full 5-week preseason under your belt. You got to be twiddling your thumb saying, okay, what do we do now?
Right. You know, we put in 5 weeks. So we were 5 days from the first game when the announcement came down. But, you know, the last few days before that, there were some rumblings that something was probably was gonna happen. I'm not sure we expected it to be delayed that long, or maybe even to shut us down completely. But, you know, we just have to adjust and adapt. And the guys yesterday, after we broke the news to them, you know, we just put them through a 2-hour scrimmage. We just divided up teams and we scrimmaged for 2 hours. And then they said, Coach, can we come in today? We've got till 5 o'clock before the basketball world shuts down. So we had probably close to 20 guys in there today from 4 to 5, getting one last hour in the gym. You know, the guys want to play. They've
done all the right things.
We've done all the right things. We've done what we're supposed to do. We went through the process all summer of having 10 in the gym at a time, and we just felt like we've done all the right things and what we were told to do. And we were hoping that maybe we could break loose and get some games in before Christmas. But looks like at this point, hopefully January 4th, we can get a first game in. Just hate it for the guys who we put 5 weeks in. Yeah. Now they're going to shut us down for 3. That's and we told them, like, guys, when we come back, we don't want to start over from scratch. We want to pick up where we're at now and try to keep building to that first game. So just the conditioning is the biggest thing that we'll lose. It's you sit out 3 days. It's hard to come back on that fourth.
3 weeks.
3 weeks is going to be tough.
Yeah. And as you said, kind of ended last season with a lot of unfulfilled dreams and hopes and aspirations, and with a bad taste in your mouth after just an incredible run in the playoffs. I mean, that's I guess the one, the only silver lining is that everybody's lasting memory of that team will be lifting up a trophy no matter what, right?
That's right. Usually there's only one team that wins their last game, and there was, I guess, 16 this past year. But just you hate it for the kids. We had such a season where we basically had one kid that had ever been in a varsity game, and the improvement that those guys were able to make, and the belief they had in each other, and just to keep grinding out and grinding and getting better, and then putting it all together at the right point. It's one of the few Scott County teams ever that a lot wasn't expected out of them, and made it that much more sweeter to be able to win that regional title. And you never know what can happen in Rupp Arena. You get there and see what happens. And we felt like we had a draw where we could make it to the semifinals, and then you never know what happens then, because teams get upset along the way, or you get hot at the right time, and a lot of what ifs. But proud of those guys. And the bad thing is we never even got to have a banquet to celebrate it.
That's unfortunate.
We kept putting it off and hoping that they were going to let us do it, and then we had a 1-by-1 passing out of the plaques at the end of the season. So
you can hope for a 5-year, 10-year reunion down the road and give that team the celebration it was worthy of, for sure. Appeared that Frederick Douglass scored on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. I don't know for sure if it was Key or Crowdis, but it was a long throw that he came down with at the pylon. And Frederick Douglass has increased the lead there over Great Crossing to either 32 or 34-14. They went for the 2-point conversion. I didn't see if that was good or not. So certainly looking like it will be Frederick Douglass at Scott County, and that's what you want, right? That's what it's what we all, it's the one we circle on our calendar at the beginning of the season, and we've circled it a couple of times and had the rug pulled out from under us this year. So if, knock on wood and God willing and all that, if we all get healthy to next Friday, we're going to see a good one here at Bird's Nest Stadium, it looks like.
There's definitely a few games, statewide that are circled each year, and obviously the last couple of years, this has been one of them. It's turned into quite the rivalry. So, and get two of the top probably 3 teams in 5A in the same district. So
yeah, I mean, from the basketball side, you can think of certain schools in this state that when you mention them next to Scott County, just everybody's, your hair stands up on end. You think of Ballard over the years, and you think of Catholic, and there's just certain names that get you fired up. And if you're a Scott County football player, coach, fan, all you have to do is say Frederick Douglass, and I believe the feeling is mutual.
It definitely is. Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk in that series over the past few years. From day one, really, I remember Frederick Douglass referring to Scott County as the team up north, and that's kind of stuck. They kind of
do.
And even though, McKee has kind of mentioned it publicly and said it's kind of lame, I think they only doubled down on it after that. So
I was in an elevator at a baseball tournament this summer in Tennessee, and a kid got on the elevator. I had a Scott County shirt on. He said, you're from that team up north. I said, well, you must be from Frederick Douglass. And he said, yes, sir. He was a baseball player. He wasn't even a football player. But so it's school wide, I guess.
They just had a baseball player sign with UK, I think.
They did, yeah. Plays basketball as well.
Yep.
Good player.
They have got some athletes for sure, and we will see them on display here next Friday night. They, as usual, got a quarterback from out of town. This one was from Washington State, so
a few states away.
Not quite Eastern Kentucky this time around, but it's he's had a good season. Had a tough start against North Hardin. I don't think he's thrown an interception since that night, and I think if you factor in tonight, he's got about 20 touchdown passes in 5 games. So they are dangerous. He's got a couple of D1 receivers, as we mentioned, at his disposal. They've got a D1 tackle that blocks for them. So work is cut out for Scott County next week. But I think the end of the day, you go into that game 7-0. You've given yourself a chance to do all that you want in any given year, and in a year like this, to have that opportunity, I think it's a double blessing.
It's kind of unfortunate the way that the timing of how they changed the playoff system last year and this year, where we meet up in the second round now.
Yeah.
Usually that's a 3rd or 4th round game, but it's like that. 5A is an interesting thing. You got Bowling Green and South Warren. They do the same thing. They meet in the second round. So
I just don't understand. And then you see in 1A, I saw Sayre is going to Pikeville for a first round game. How does that happen? If this is supposed to be regionalized, how is that happening? I just don't get it.
That's weird. Is Sayre even in a district? This is their first year of varsity football.
I guess that must be the reason.
I don't know.
They're undefeated. I know somebody stuck up for them and was saying they had they had a puncher's chance, an underdog's chance to win tonight. And some other people were saying that was crazy. And I'm like, they're playing each other? What's
Yeah, that's an odd first round. That's 3.5 hour trip.
this
You're
whole
right.
this whole thing was designed to keep the travel down for those early rounds. But even before that, you had to play in week 3, so it's not that much of a difference.
Right.
I think in the past they still would. If you went with a straight seeding, maybe they wouldn't have to play earlier than that. But although this year, look at the RPI, Scott County might end up playing Douglas in the 3rd round anyway. So
True.
you got to beat them all. You might as well play it whenever, and it'll just be good to see it played at all after being canceled twice this year. So,
That's right.
assuming they can hold on against Great Crossing, that will be the matchup. The matchup we've all talked about since last year. A lot of memorable games in that series already. The last time Scott County won was 2 years ago in the playoffs, and that avenged a regular season loss as well, as we all remember. So it's been a wild series, and we expect nothing different. Talking about basketball again, you mentioned Coach Glenn. What's it been like for you two guys? Obviously, a whole different scene last year without that familiar face and voice of Coach Hicks around, but you all found your own identity as the season went along.
We did, and there's a few things that changed, but in the grand scheme of things, what Coach Hicks is the most successful high school coach ever in the state of Kentucky. So, the base and foundation was set, and we just wanted to try to carry it on the best we could, and each year you're going to make adjustments as you go along. That's always been a thing that's happened in the past. You got to adapt to your team, and I think it took just a little bit longer last year to figure out the players and what they could do the best, and maybe what position we needed to put them in to succeed. And seemed like as the season went on, those guys accepted their roles, and it just kind of came together at the right time. But yeah, it was I'm glad to see Coach Hicks came to a couple games last year. I was afraid he may not come at all, but he really enjoyed sitting up there.
Good to get him there.
Yeah, he really enjoyed coming and watching, and he really gave us a hard time after the games too. He said, "Gosh, you guys are working too hard down there." So it was good. It's just fun to be out there, be around the kids, and try to teach them and push them in the right direction and see what can happen each year.
It's a whole new ball game, and the thing about that team, just the way you progress throughout the season and learn from the opportunities you had. There's nobody's schedule's tougher than Scott County, and nobody's in a tougher district around here. And just the lessons you learned in December and January that you're able to put to work in February and March.
Well, it's testament to the guys too. Last year, they never got frustrated. Coach Glenn and I were getting frustrated. Guys, we can't keep learning lessons by losing these games by 6 or 8 points. I think we only lost one game by more than 10.
Which was close. And even the games where you guys would get behind big early, you'd come back and make a game of it.
Right.
Think of the Toyota Classic final.
Yeah, perfect example. So, and things have to work out along the way. The regional final, for instance, the other bracket had Lexington Catholic and Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass has beaten us 3 times already, and Lexington Catholic's only lost 1 game all year. So, pick your poison in that game. But for us, we felt like the matchup against Lexington Catholic was much more in our favor than trying to play Douglass. It's just the matchup's the way it worked out. So we felt good going into that final game.
You had played Lexington Catholic like the second game of the season, if I recall, or early December, and that felt like a game that you guys were in most of the night. There were, a few little things. And I remember Coach Glenn saying to me, "Man, if we see them again. I'm like, man, you never know."
Well, just our matchups. We talked about McCaleb Coffee is just a very good defensive player, and they had one really good offensive player. So, and the rest of it, we felt like we matched up very well with them, or maybe even our advantage. So, just one of those things that happens. And we came out and Chase hit 2 threes from about 30 feet out, and I think we kind of stunned them a little bit. And from that point on, we played with the lead the whole game, so the pressure was on those guys the whole time. And they've already called about playing this year. Don't worry, that was before December or before January 4th game, and they called Coach Glenn today, making sure we were still going to be able to play.
Want to make sure they're going to get their opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's good. Well, that's a rivalry that should be renewed every year.
That's right. That's right.
At least once.
And we had some new games picked up this year. We were going to play Highlands, who's probably going to be the second best team in Northern Kentucky this year. We had them on the schedule. We had Mason County again. We have not played those guys in probably 10 plus years. That used to be a huge rivalry.
Yeah, I heard there's some history there. Maybe
Definitely.
Coach Hicks didn't schedule that game for a reason or something. I don't know.
Well, I think we kept beating them, and they had Darius Miller and Chris Lofton and those guys, and they couldn't beat us, so they disappeared off the schedule. I think.
Yeah, that might have happened too.
Yeah, there were some very good games all along the way. Then we picked up Beechwood. They had Scott Drought, who's one of the probably top 10 players in the state this year. So we had put together another challenging schedule.
Speaking of, you talk about Mason County and those guys. There was a chance that by this time next year, there will be two guys in the NBA on a team that you guys beat in the Sweet 16 a couple years ago in Trinity in the first round.
Yeah,
David Johnson and Jay Scrub.
Jay Scrub, you're right.
I mean, because Scrub was drafted the other night. Johnson certainly will be either next year or whenever he becomes eligible and decides to declare.
I saw a tweet the other night after the draft, and it was something to the effects of Trinity had Jay Scrub and David Johnson and didn't win the state championship. How did that happen?
He got knocked out in the first round.
And it took everything I had not to tweet back that some team named Scott County happened.
Some guy named Cooper Robb hit a corner three. And
one of the biggest shots ever in Scott County history, probably.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Unbelievable shot.
That was just a nerve-wracking game. Kind of a bloodbath all the way through. And, I feel like if the heavens had smiled upon us and everybody been healthy, you could have beaten Trinity the next year too. But,
I think so, but
it is what it is,
That's what makes Kentucky so special. It's so hard to win that state tournament. So
we're about ready to get back to football here as the final seconds of halftime winding down. It will be running time, so this will not be a long second half, we would think and hope. Looks like they're still at halftime over in Lexington. So I do wish there was a scoreboard / announcer on that game so we could figure things out a little better for you. But looking like it'll be a Douglas-Scott County showdown here next Friday night. Of course, it's all contingent on everyone staying healthy. The KHSAA has mentioned there could be some lucky losers as this tournament goes along. If you get beat and the team that beats you has to withdraw because of health reasons, you may have the option of stepping in. So might be some unprecedented things happening in this playoff. Caught at the 12 by Bick. He slowly stepping through traffic. It's not going to be any different this time. He's going to be taken down at the 20. He tried a little different tactic than he did in the first half. Instead of running into the wall, into the wedge.
He ran a long way for those 2 yards.
Yeah, he had to earn both of them. He gets taken down at the 19. By the time Grant County snaps the ball, there will be under 11 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Well, in the way they take their time
getting
to play,
their sweet time. They had several penalties. What did they have for first half penalties? They had 5 for 25, and I bet they were all delayed games.
4 delay games.
At least, yeah. Maybe once they jumped off sides. And the snap is bobbled and handed to Sutherland, and he will pay the price with a 4-yard loss.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the minus here pretty soon again. 14 carries now, 4 yards total net.
Wow. Scott County, the guys who have come in here this season with the powerful running backs, Clark County had a tough night. They've done a good job with these running backs.
Yeah, they did a great job. Under pressure again. That's got to be grounding, right? I mean, there was nobody anywhere near.
Looks like it must have gotten tipped. Yeah.
Okay. They're going to call it. They're going to call it.
Yeah.
Bick was over here, but he either got hit or the ball got hit. You're right.
So that's Jonathan Berry in the backfield again. So
he's putting his name in the hat for defensive player of the game, along with Spencer Wood and Kevin Herbert. Isaac Krebs and Cade Tackett and some others that we've mentioned.
3rd down.
Barry's a difference maker up there for sure with his size and strength. Sideline getting into it, as you mentioned. It's a scaled down sideline tonight, but they are staying on top of the action here, rooting on the defense. Nip will throw. Nope, he'll get sacked again. Going to be Elijah Adams in there.
Kevin Herbert.
Oh, Herbert,
Yeah.
Wood. I don't know.
They're
He has
all
some
in there.
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Holland announced Herbert.
Spencer Wood and Josh
He also
Harris.
came in and handed me a note during halftime because I was ribbing him about his pregame music choices. And he told me that one of them was targeted. I'll leave it at that.
Wow.
Yeah. They're going to try to punt. It goes not far. It will bounce at the 35. They'll take a good Grant County roll to about the 43, where Sutherland will down it with 9:06 and counting remaining here in the third quarter.
43.
Yep, he played Crash Into Me by Dave Matthews and Freedom 90 by George Michael, and I called him out on it. He said he played Freedom during his mask announcement, so I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Yeah.
But
Bill does a great job. He's been the announcer
Forever.
since I think he started when I played back in the early 90s.
Our
90s,
producer,
92, so.
our producer, James Scoggin, did a nice piece on Bill for the Georgetown magazine this past winter. He was talking about his history, named his all-time team for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
This is going to be a long run for Saylor, and it's going to get longer as he breaks a couple of tackles and gets inside the 20 to the Grant County 18. So Saylor showing himself to have a clean bill of health tonight. They've got all the options going. That's going to be necessary next week. You're not going to be able to just ride Montego Jones. You're going to have to get to the corner and some misdirection and sell the fakes. You will give it again to Campton Martin this time. We haven't seen him a lot. He has 16 total touchdowns on the season. He gets stopped 2 yards shy of number 17. And Bick paid the price for it. It looked like he got his helmet kind of knocked sideways, but he gets up. Ball's at the 2.
First and goal, Scott County. The Braves 2.
Seems like all the long runs have happened to the right side of the line tonight. So I don't know if that's something they've seen on film.
It certainly has worked for
side.
Hamilton, Saylor, and now Martin to come this way. It'll
Yeah.
be Martin, and he will finish.
Wow.
Oh, he just popped and pancaked the guy and steps over him, and he's going to get a
Yeah,
flag.
that's
And that's not going to make Coach McKee happy at all
no.
as he runs right out on the field and says, "What are you doing that for?" It's not the first time that's happened this year, and that might contribute to some of the irritation. It is a touchdown. It won't wipe out the touchdown. It'll just affect the either the PAT or the kickoff.
Impressive run. I mean, he just
Yeah,
put
he
the
just
linebacker right
flattened
down
him.
on his back. You know, just kind of got to act like you've been there before.
Yeah,
Celebrate. move
17
on.
times, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. Brings a lot of energy to the football field, does
Yes.
Mr. Martin. He will certainly be a first-team All-State on just about everybody's team that's worth reading about.
Saw he picked up a couple of college offers this week too. So
Yeah,
they gotta
Lindsey
be
Wilson,
start to roll in this.
You would
this
think
winter.
you think all the Mid-South schools would have to be interested. Kick is good, 49-6.
It's always good when they kick it on top of the building over there, and then we got to watch these guys climb up and try to get it. So
Over the field house or on top of the roof.
probably gonna need a net pretty soon.
Yeah, I would think so. It's, somebody needed to think of that with
Yeah.
all the other state-of-the-art stuff
That's right.
in place. $49-6, and the clock's even going to run during the exchange here, so that's good.
Wow.
It's going to be a literal 12 minutes.
Probably an agreement made
I would
for
say.
that. I would say between the coaches.
I would say there's no reason. And again, anything you can do to minimize your exposure, even if it's cutting 10 or 20 minutes off a game. I
That's
guess.
right.
Let's do it.
And both teams have minimal rosters tonight, so And that's, maybe a good thing for Scott County. Those guys get a few more reps, being able to play the entire game and
Yeah, I think so. I don't
knock
think
the
you
rust
need
off and be
to.
able to get that groove back that they finished before the long break.
You don't need to play a half and then sit there and it's not really cold, but sit there in the cold and do nothing. It doesn't really help you after 5 weeks off. So they will kick from the 25 instead of the 40 after the taunting penalty. It will be a short one to the 30. Bick is there. He has not gotten much on the returns tonight. Knocked out at the 40 by Andrew Willite. First down for the Braves.
Ben's done a good job of placing his kicks. He's put them right, between the number and the sideline, so they kind of squeeze the return man.
Yeah, that's the
It's going to be a big key next week, I'm sure.
It's been the tactic this year is to kick it toward the sideline and cut down on that. Yeah, with a team with that many weapons, you don't want to play it straight and let them go 95 yards.
That's right.
Their offense is dangerous enough. You don't need to give them points on special teams for sure. And that's been the key the last couple of years. Special teams, turnovers. That's how those games have turned. And as you mentioned, last year, it felt like that playoff game was attainable, except for those 2 or 3 mistakes. Hand off to Sutherland. He just runs into the wall, falls forward for a yard. Thompson and Herbert were there.
There's not much room for Sutherland up the middle tonight.
He just kept churning and churning at home to the tune of almost 200 yards against Scott County, albeit in a 62-14 loss. Tonight's final score will be similar, one would think. With 3:15 remaining in a fast-moving, to say the least, third quarter. Again, Sutherland, again, small gain, a little more this time as he spins forward to the 44. Taken down by Adams, among others. Tackett was in there, gives the thumbs up to the sideline. Third and 7. Braves letting the clock tick away on their season. Will end with a 3-5 record. They did get a district win, which had been a long time coming, 50-40 over Montgomery County. Definitely a down year for the Indians, as they did not qualify for the playoffs. Timeout now for the Braves. Will the clock even stop during a timeout? No, it will not. It will continue running.
Wow. So
nope. Okay, now they stop it. $2:11 to play here in the third quarter.
You don't think Montgomery County played a lot of younger kids this year?
Yeah, I heard a lot of sophomores, and it showed. They were it took them till the last play of the game, their starters, to score against Scott County's third or fourth string to avoid the shutout. 69-6 was the final that night, and that was the last game before tonight for the Cardinals, as they've had the 35 days to think about it and wonder if they were ever going to play again. But here they are, picking up where they left off. Honestly, have not looked very rusty, at least on offense and defense, obviously, with the job they've done on Sutherland.
Yeah, everything's been pretty smooth on offense.
Pretty good coverage in the pass game. I mean, Grant County hit some early in the flats, but good coverage on the long stuff tonight.
Right.
Except for the touchdown pass in the front corner of the end zone that gave Grant County its only points so far, 49-6. Shotgun snap, quick throw, incomplete. Pressure coming from Colvin.
Just rushed him on that pass. He had a receiver in the flat. Just, the quarterback had very little time to set his feet and throw it.
It's been a quickly collapsing pocket, and it's been a quickly collapsing line of vision for Sutherland running the ball. So nothing really has lately worked for Grant County. They did have 96 total yards in the first half. A lot of that came on one drive. Going to run the play clock down under 5 now. Are they going to take another delay of game penalty? No, they're not. Are you serious? No, they are going to give them a timeout with 1:21 remaining in the third quarter.
I think the depth is just the big issue for those guys.
They just play both sides.
Right. Their linemen are playing both ways, and we're running fresh defensive linemen in. I think early on they were able to hold us out of the backfield to get a few completions, but
it just has not happened lately. There has just been no ability to give him time to throw. He's only hit one of his last 7. Great crossing with the ball to start the second. They have just started the second. We have played the entire third quarter while they were still having halftime over there in Lexington. So it is a quick mover here. Scott County will move to 7-0 on the season. We'll be back with you next Friday night. Finish off some of that leftover turkey and stuffing and mac and cheese and what have you, and then tune in at 7:30 as we will have the game we've all been waiting for, presumably Scott County and Douglas.
That's kind of your goal as a football player, to be practicing and playing Thanksgiving week. I know it's a little different this week. It's just the second week of playoffs.
It's not state semifinals like it's been in the past. The first 2 years I was here, they played Lafayette and St. X and back-to-back. This is a wide open. That was a blown coverage as Sutherland was all alone, and he will take it down inside the 25. So Grant County will hit a quick pass there. I don't know what happened, but there was nobody in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's a long gain of about 50. That's the most daylight Sutherland has seen all night, and he had to do it by lining out up here on the
Looks like they lined
Scott
up all
County
the receivers
sideline.
on one side, and then Sutherland just snuck out of the backfield. He looked like he was going to block initially and just
took the ball himself.
Yeah.
They just left him alone. So 1st and 10 for the Braves. Last minute of the third quarter as they try to score again and make it a little more palatable for them and their ride home. A lot of time to throw here for Nip. Well covered. It gets pushed in the back. They're not going to call the offensive interference. That's a touchdown. Interesting. Carson Bick with his second catch of the night. This one covers 23 yards, and that was a pretty clear stiff arm right in the shoulder blades. But
definitely cleared some space. But
what are you going to do? And the clock's going to tick down by the time they do the PAT. It will be the final play of the third quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter.
I'm looking forward to watching this great crossing game after I get home, because it almost looks like they're running kind of a double wing or single wing type thing with Caleb Perry at quarterback. Different offense than I've seen from them. Here's a busted play on the PAT. Just nothing there for Bick. So he will not pile up the 2 points on top of his touchdown. That will end the third quarter with the score. Your Scott County Cardinals 49. The Grant County Braves 12. Carson Bick with his second touchdown catch of the night from Connor Nip.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your entertainment, the Scott County Cardinal dance team.
We'll have a dance team exhibition here between quarters. This might take longer than the fourth quarter itself. So it'll only be 12 minutes of real time at this rate.
And I'll be curious how the dance team is affected.
People have asked me.
It's
actually,
closed down.
I got questions.
Sports, but as long as the football team's playing, I guess they can piggyback along maybe. I don't know.
I would, and then
they should be able to.
And then the question of basketball season is, will they be allowed in to do what they do along with the cheerleaders?
Yeah.
Or it's been not a problem for these outdoor events,
right?
But I don't know.
Well,
a lot of questions.
As of last week, or as of this week, preparing for next week in our first game, the cheerleaders were going to be allowed in the gym.
Yeah, but a lot has changed.
They were
since
going to be
then.
split up on both ends, and there was it was a lot of work just to put on a basketball game. But
Yeah, boy, it's put a lot of ads and coaches and
where people could sit,
administrators
where the
through
players could
to-
sit,
They've earned their
Yeah.
money this year for sure. Logan Sutherland, 16 carries, 8 yards for leading rusher in
Wow.
Class 5A. Scott County has done a number on him. Cade Tackett, Kevin Herbert. They've been the leading tacklers tonight, along with Young and Krebs. Carson Bick has 6 catches for 72 yards. That's been the bulk of the Grant County offense. Nip 10 for 17, 146. 12 minutes to play here. Scott County trying to put the finishing touches on a first-round playoff victory. Squib kick. Actually, the longest kickoff of the night for Grant County. It'll get to the 30. That might actually play into Scott County's hands. They don't have to cover too many kicks, does Grant County. They brought it back to the other 30. Luttrell's got a couple of blocks. He gets to the 25, down just close to the 20. Knocked out at the 22 by Bick, who's been all over the place for Grant County tonight. Call it the 23, so it's a return of 47 yards for Taylor Luttrell.
Good run back there. Logan Jones had a very good block. Took out 3 guys, I believe, with 1 block, so opened it up for him.
Grant County.
That squib kick probably went farther than they were hoping.
Yeah, they're not used to that.
Yep.
It's definitely the longest play that Taylor Luttrell's had from scrimmage. He's had a couple of catches early in the season, but that was a nice play there. The offense, starting offense, as you said, not a lot of JVs here tonight, so it will be Patton under center here to start the 4th. Hand off to Jones, untouched to the 10, the 5. He gets spun there, down at the 1. Just shy of the end zone.
Looked like the same play he scored on earlier, the kind of an outside handoff instead of the normal right up the middle.
Based on the recent trend of Saylor and Martin, I'm going to guess that he'll let Jones finish the drive and give him the honor of scoring the touchdown. That's been the pattern lately. The long run to set up the score.
And another long run to the right side.
All night long.
Here we go to the left.
No, and it's not going to be Jones. Is that Martin or Saylor?
Looks like Saylor.
Okay, with 10:14 to play. Touchdown number 2 on the night for Jackson Saylor. It is a 6-yarder in the first half. It's a 1-yarder here. Montego Jones set it up along with the kick return by Taylor Luttrell. Kick is up and good. 56-12. 9:46 to play in the game. Score looking more and more almost on the nose of what it was last time. 62-14, I guess, is what it was. We were a touchdown away from very similar here.
Similar in the play drives. It's very short.
It's looked very
2 or 3 plays. It
hasn't taken them long. We'll Sly and the Family Stone for you here as we wind things down tonight.
Bill's got a wide variety of music. You can always count on that.
I won't pick on him for playing any George Michael from now on. I guess I learned my lesson. Fielded at the 11 to the 20 and not much farther.
Like Cody King.
King was there. Somebody ran into Martin. Martin throws up his hands like he wants to make sure he doesn't get another penalty. No, I think it's, I don't know, is it the same rule? Is it too unsportsmanlike conduct and you don't want to get
Yeah, I'm not
ejected?
sure.
In college, it can be.
It is in college.
You certainly don't want to be out of the lineup next week.
23.
Ball at the, where are they going to mark it? 23, 7.5 minutes to play. It'll be a quick 7.5 minutes. This will end up being our shortest night of the season, I think. Might be done by 9:30.
That's the real cold games that last
I
forever.
was going to say, if the other game were close, I'd have time to drive to Lexington for the end of it.
Yep.
Probably just going to watch. 2-yard run. Keller made the stop on Sutherland there. Second and 8 from the 25. Handoff again. Sutherland, nothing. Fights and fights for half a yard maybe before the whistle finally blows. Young man has worked for his supper tonight. It's been crumbs. Scott County has hit him early and hit him often. Third and long. Call it 8 from the 25. Another handoff coming this way. It's going to be a tackle for loss. Looks like Tackett there, along with Colvin. 4th and 10. Might see that pooch kick one more time. Nope. Scott County is going to jump off sides. That's going to make it an easier call. It'll be 4th and 5. I think it might have been Herbert coming across the line.
Offsides against the defense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Just about every time that's happened tonight, Grant County's given it back with a delay of game penalty. I wouldn't think they would here, but shotgun formation. Will they punt? No, they'll go. Nip will throw it. Slant dropped, or at least incomplete. Bick, I think he's mad. No, it wasn't Bick. It's a different receiver this time. Had his hands on it, mad at himself.
He was going to be right
Number
at the
9,
chains.
Dylan Williams.
Yeah, he was close.
Sophomore was trying to make a contribution there, and it will be Scott County ball. They'll have a chance to score one more. Change of possession with 5:14 remaining in the game. 56-12, your score. I want to thank our sponsors one more time. I never really did get through the list the first time. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic. We love and treat your pets like our own. Come join the SC Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see us at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skewerman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper, 2 Georgetown locations, and Domino's Pizza. Check out the new G-Town location at the corner of Champion Way and US 25. We mentioned Burger King, the sponsor of tonight's offensive player of the game. I don't think I'm talking out of turn to tell you that'll be Jeremy Hamilton. Touched the ball 6 times, scored on 4 of them in the first half. Defensive player of the game, sponsored by Bluegrass Orthopedics. We're going to wait a little while longer on that. I've given one of those to Kay Tackett this year, given one of them to Isaac Krebs, given one of them to Campton Martin. In the interest of spreading it around, there's some other candidates there we could possibly think about. Barry, Wood.
Several guys along the defensive line.
Yeah, Barry and Wood have been the guys that have, Sutherland has run into time and time again.
Quarterback for Scott County is Logan Jones.
Hayden Jones is going to take it to the house for his 5th touchdown of the season. First time he touched the ball all night, and he's hit pay dirt. And they will hang another 60 burger on Grant County.
Another one-play drive.
You got it.
And they had subbed in there. It looked like they had kind of gone to their second group on offense. So.
Yeah, they had a second quarterback in there with Logan Jones, hands off to Hayden Jones. And just like that, extra point, the 9th of the night. They're going to jump off sides.
Flags on the field. Penalties declined. Kicks up. It's good.
Range is 9 for 9.
4 minutes to go.
He's missed one all season. Somewhere in the 95 to 97% efficiency range. (63-12). As we said, first time around this year, 62-14. So remarkably similar in so many ways. The only difference tonight, no defensive touchdown for Scott County. Had one that night with Jeremy Hamilton.
Seemed like there was a couple other interceptions that night as well.
Yeah, A.J. Young had one to set up a TD.
A lot of short fields that night as well.
9 touchdowns. I think 8 different guys might have, or 7 different guys might have scored one. Short kick. Well, he made it to 15, not really short. Another, probably one of the better returns of the night, out past the 30. They haven't had much. Sutherland returning the kick. He's trying to find an official to give the ball to. He wants to get out there and score again before the season ends.
That's right.
He's telling him, hurry up. He's a gamer, that's for sure. Certainly not his finest 2 hours in terms of stats, but he's fighting hard to the very end. Give this Grant County team credit. I've seen them 3 times this year. Make do with what they have, for sure. Sutherland will get it, and he'll pay the price for wanting to get the ball again. He gets popped.
Get up the tackle.
They have a bunch of run stuffers on this Cardinal roster, and they will be put to the test next week. Although Douglas definitely a team that runs to set up the pass, no question. Sutherland with one more short run. We're down to the last 90 seconds.
Third down and 9.
Of Scott County's 7th win of the season against no defeats. They will be at home next Friday night against the Frederick Douglass Broncos if that score holds in Lexington. Sutherland gets popped again. It'll be 4th and 7. And that will be, for all intents and purposes, the last play of the game no matter what, because Scott County will just kneel on it, I would think. If they get the ball back.
You know, Sutherland, we talked about his workload. He's had 16 carries before the 4th quarter started. He's gotten the last 2 possessions. He's gotten almost all of them. So,
yeah, he stayed busy. They're going to call a timeout before they run their final play.
Yeah. Timeout, Grant County. Remind everyone to stay off the field, please, after the game. If Scott County holds on,
48 seconds
wins the game,
to play.
They will be at home as they will host either Frederick Douglass or Great Crossings here next Friday night.
Douglas about to punch it in again, so that will assuredly put that game away. It's going to be a bird and pony show here on Friday night, November the 27th, in round 2 of the playoffs. That just sounds strange, but it's a short football season in some respects and a long one in others. It's going to go till.
It's the game most people have been waiting for a long time.
I mean, it's I think in most people's minds, it's probably the equivalent of a state semifinal game. So whoever survives it will have a good chance of playing at Kroger Field. Hand off to Sutherland after all that. He will get the first down, I believe. They'll mark him. Yeah, they'll mark him well past the marker. So they'll get to run another play, one would think.
First down for the Braves. Brought down by a flock of Cardinals.
We'll give the Bluegrass Orthopedics Defensive Player of the Game to Kevin Herbert. He's been one of the primary run stuffers. He was credited with a sack and a half through the first three quarters. As there will be another tackle for loss. I think Herbert might have been involved in that one along with Adams. And that will be the final play of the game. Your Scott County Cardinals winners once again, 63-12.
Remind everyone to stay off the field after the game. Once again, thanks to Change.
Like we talked about earlier, just good to get a game under your belt before you go into next week.
Yes, I mean it's better than scrimmaging yourselves, right? I mean, it's bottom line is they get to play a 48-minute game.
Ride home safely. See you next Friday. Good night, everybody.
63-12, your final score, as Scott County will wave to the team across the way. And hopefully, Coach, we'll be seeing you in a little more than a month on the sidelines at a basketball game.
That's the plan.
I really hope it's on time and we don't ever have to deal with anything like this in our lifetime again.
I'm right there with you. It's been a tough 8 months, I guess, now. So, we'll just keep doing the best we can.
It's really
our hope is to be able to get in the gym maybe after Thanksgiving break. They'll let us come back and go back to the summer workout rules where we can get 10 in the gym and try to keep some conditioning and things like that. So
it's fully affected 2 basketball seasons now, the end of one and the beginning of another, and it's shows no signs of stopping. But we hope by the spring things will turn around. Chris, thanks for joining me tonight. As always, thank you to James Scoggin, our producer, Mike Scoggin back at the office for all of his support, DT Wells for making all our sponsors happy and giving us these beautiful trophies to present to the players of the game each week. We'll have at least one more for you next Friday night at 7:30 here at the Bird's Nest. I'm Cal Oakes saying good night. God bless. Have a happy Thanksgiving. See you next week.